Hello and welcome to My Xbox and Me, our post episode of all things not E3. The Xbox showcase has been and gone, and so has the Xbox Call of Duty Direct as well. I am one of your hosts, MC Fixer, alongside the ones and twos man, Mr. Paul Despawn. How are you?
That's me. I'm good. I'm coming down off the hype of yesterday. Still like, you know when you get that adrenaline hit, and I'm just like, oh. Also, it might just be the cherry Coke. Who knows?
Probably the cherry Coke, if we're being honest. Maybe. And of course, the one who is too fresh. His name is Crash. Too fresh, Crash. Crash, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Hyped yesterday. A little disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
Because you weren't there.
I know. So for everyone who doesn't know, during our watch along for the Xbox showcase, my internet decided to take a big giant poopy midway through our reaction stream. So I got all the way up to the Fable trailer, and my computer said no. So that was I'm not gonna lie, I was upset not being able to geek out with you both live for what we're going to talk about now, but nonetheless, I think we should start off with reviewing the Xbox showcase. I think this one you've mentioned it a few times actually, and I think this is a good place to start. So Xbox as a whole, obviously I'll talk about my own personal opinions. Xbox as a whole has been very up and down this year for me. It definitely hasn't been smooth sailing. It's definitely been a gigantic step in a different direction. Not going to say right, not going to say wrong, because I think time will tell if those things are true. But definitely in a different direction. And the showcase itself it needed to be big because of everything that has gone on this year when it comes to all things Xbox and its ecosystem. And for me, it delivered on that. It literally did everything that I wanted the showcase to do. It done. We got to see a plethora of first-party titles that Xbox are developing. They've paid for. They've put the hard work in, and we're starting to see the fruits of that labor from these fantastic studios. Not only that, it kind of showed us that Xbox mean business again from the outside looking in. I'm not sure if it's totally true. We'll find out very soon. That Xbox are still in good graces with third parties, which again, I won't mention any game specifically, but I think Xbox had a really good third party show in here at this showcase as well, which was like some games that are coming to Game Pass, some games that are not, but still, hey, don't forget that we have this game on our platform, and here's the first look at it. So overall for me personally, I put it out on Twitter, and people might think I'm being crazy, but I do generally think it was a 10 out of 10 showcase for me. It was a masterpiece in pacing. It was a masterpiece in getting people hyped for the right things at the right time. I don't think anything they showed too early for me to be like, oh, that's not going to come for another 20,000 years. Again, we can discuss that about a couple of games that didn't get release dates. But as a whole, I truly do believe, whether or not this is a masterpiece of a showcase in terms of like what we would review it as, it definitely was a masterpiece for the time of right now. This is hit at the time Xbox needed it to, in the way Xbox needed it to. So that's why for me, I do believe this was probably the best Xbox showcase I've seen since I started covering the industry 8, 9, 10 years ago. So really happy for Xbox, really happy for people to be up on Xbox. How long will that last? As long as until Sony come out with their next thing or Nintendo come out with their next thing. But let's enjoy it while it lasts, lads. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. Chris, if you had to score it out of 10 on the MXAM scale, where would it be, and what are your initial thoughts?
I think I would give it a 9. I think I agree with you in general. I think it is Xbox's best showcase, probably. I can't think of a showcase that is better than it. I think the only thing that keeps it from getting to that 10 mark for me is release dates. I think that sort of just every big game that got shown. I don't think any of them had release dates, really, at least Xbox's side. And
it depends on what you count. Depends on what you count as big. You can't. Again, we'll get into it, but Avowed ended up getting a release date. So
that's true. That is true. We did get an Avowed release date, so there are some stuff there. But yeah, I think even regardless of that, you gave it a 10. Like, I couldn't argue against giving it a 10, to be 100% honest with you, because it was a really, really good showcase. And even when they had games that I didn't care about, they showed them off the proper way where it didn't feel like a chore to watch it. Because a lot of times we'll talk about in these showcases of like, there was just a lot of games that I didn't care for and they weren't shown in interesting ways. So it just pulls you out of the experience until you see something you like. Where with this, I think the only time I got close to that was that mouse game that they showed. Was
I actually
really
like, look at that. I only saw that today. I went back and watched it today. I was like, oh yeah, that's in Game Pass. I'll play that.
Yeah, for me, it was like it was teetering towards it, but then it ended right when it needed to end. They moved on to the next thing, and I feel like that was the good thing about the showcase. I feel like the talking, there wasn't a whole lot of talking, and when they did talk, it was like it was purposeful. It was on point. They moved on to the next thing fast enough. Overall, yeah, I think a solid 9 out of 10. Not mad at anybody who gives it a 10.
Despawn, what are your thoughts on the whole of the Xbox showcase?
2 out of 10, dead company. No, real answer. So I was like, we were talking about it last night after the showcase that I was leaning definitely towards a 9. But then as I've gone back and rewatched it and as I've thought about it more, I'm going to give it a 10. I think, yeah, this is the best Xbox showing I've seen from this company since I've started covering games. And to see them, like, we talked about it before, that like Xbox has spent so long now building up to this moment that they had to land. And I think they landed it perfectly. I think, as you guys said, like, granted, we didn't get dates for a lot of things, but we did get dates for some things. And the things that we didn't get dates for, we at least got years for, or we knew that they were going to be years out anyway. So I'm not too worried about that. And the amount of 2024 dates we got, or at least windows we got, says to me that there's enough regular content coming out this year that I'm going to be happy being an Xbox fan. I think, yeah, like the pacing was fantastic. I think the messaging was brilliant. Every game that I wanted to see, I got to see here, I think, and they showed it in the best way possible. So where there was things like, again, we'll get into the specifics of it, but there was a few games where I was like, I really hope we see gameplay. We got extended gameplay of certain games that I didn't really think we would get. And that made me so happy. So yeah, I think for me personally, it is a 10 out of 10. I think this is the best that Xbox has done in a long while.
Well, let's jump into it and talk about everything that was shown at the showcase then, shall we? The showcase kicked off with Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We got a more single-player look of what was going to happen in that. Obviously, with the big Black Ops 6 breakdown for multiplayer and zombies was after the show in their own directs. But I really liked what I saw of Black Ops 6, releasing October 25th on PlayStation, of course, and Xbox and PC. And, of course, it will be launching day one in Game Pass. For me, there wasn't much more they could have done with this. Like, they hit the nail on the head of what they were trying to get across, which was big moments, set pieces. Call of Duty's back. Black Ops story is the story that most people care about. And yeah, I've really liked it. I'm really hoping that it's going to be good and I'm going to play it from start to finish and it's going to keep me engaged. But I really enjoyed what I saw, which is the main thing.
Yeah,
did you watch the direct afterwards?
I saw bits of it. I will be totally admit, Crash, I wasn't in the best of moods yesterday after my internet went down. So yeah, in the end, I ended up actually going to Haley took me to Tesco's. I bought a cookie dough ice cream, and we ended up watching. There's a reality show that the Sidemen put on called Inside, and I ended up watching that and just cutting myself off from work because I was in such a bad mood. So no, I haven't watched the full. I saw the movement and things like that, but I haven't seen like the full Black Ops breakdown. No.
There.
Got it. I think you should watch it if you get the opportunity to. I think it's worth the watch. Yeah.
Okay. But what did you think of Black Ops 6?
I liked it. I think this is. I think I said it during this portion where I was like, "This is it looks different enough from what Call of Duty's been for a while that it has me drawn in again. I think it's the best showing for me that Call of Duty's had for a while at a showcase at the reveal. Because I feel like lately they've been very gung-ho and grounded more so, where this felt like it was much more, a little bit more bombastic, a little bit more out there in what they were doing.
Yeah, I agree. Despawn?
Yeah, like I think this was a really good showing for the single player stuff. I know we got a bit more of a deep dive later on, but for what to start off the show to be like, put this front and center, right? Xbox is the place to play Call of Duty. But then obviously they came out after and said that everywhere is the place to play Call of Duty, which I really liked. But for what they showed of this game, just that initial start was fantastic. Again, we talked about it a couple of times where I've just not been able to play the Black Ops series for whatever reason it was. I don't know why. I just always more of a Modern Warfare kid. But yeah, this is going to be the first time I get to jump into this story. And from what I've seen, I'm very excited to do that because I like the spy and espionage stuff. And I feel like this is going to be leaning well into that. So yeah, no, super hyped for this one.
Yeah, the other news that come out of this, obviously, I watched the Phil Spencer interview with IGN afterwards. Obviously, Phil said during this trailer that he's happy that all players are going to get to experience COD same time, same day, and things like that, which I found quite interesting, considering it was cool. It was Xbox that separated players back in the day with the 360 day, so was interesting to see that. Overall, though, yeah, having COD back on Xbox this stage, and obviously them owning that COD now is crazy. But it was a great start to the show. It didn't last too long either, and we got to move on considering we was going to see more of it later on, which was good. Next game we had, which was Doom: The Dark Ages. Obviously, this would have been a huge announcement if it wasn't previously leaked, which is the big shame here. Not that it wasn't a big announcement anyway, because it was. I thought Doom: The Dark Ages looked fantastic. Game launching in 2025, Game Pass day one. News has come out also that this game will be launching on PS5 day and date. So take that what you will. It kind of aligns with the messaging they had back in the day, which was like legacy IPs of games will stay multi-platform when it comes to all things Bethesda. You could make the suggestion that, you know, this is a legacy IP, again, prequel to the Doomslayer story from 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like more of an id Software game, if I'm being totally honest with you. It looked great, and parry system now in Doom, which is very interesting. We're talking shields, you're talking mechs, you're talking dragons, you're talking all that good stuff. And again, I watched the interview IGN did with the roundtable with some people from id, and they spoke about how this is very much a cinematic game as well, which got me excited because obviously the previous 3 Dooms, I believe it's 3, it might be 2.
2, Doom and Doom Eternal.
Sorry, yeah. Doom and Doom Eternal, thank you. Have been very codex heavy, which is like you're going to get a story here, but it's very much through reading. I'm reading between the lines, and I'm hoping that isn't going to be the case in Dark Ages. All I need is a few cutscenes here and there. It's plodding me along of why I'm throwing shields at people and cutting them in half and ripping guts out. That's enough for me. But yeah, I really like the look of this. I'm hoping it has a story that can keep me engaged from start to finish. We'll go to you, Despawn. You excited for a new Doom?
Oh yeah, I mean, you saw the way I was going off when that soundtrack hit. Oh, that soundtrack, Doom's soundtrack is one of the best metal soundtracks out there. I don't like, sorry, metal bands, but yeah, no, I'm super excited. Like going back to the doing what they're doing with the prequel, like, is it a prequel or is it like kind of like an alternative universe? It's weird, but
it's technically it's a prequel to
Doom,
the Doom 2016 story.
Yeah, but yeah,
because we've never seen a before Doomslayer time. This is the only one.
So I'm interested to see how that's going to work, but in the timeline and everything. But yeah, no, Doom Dark Ages sounds like an awesome thing. Like more melee combat. Like we saw the weapon where they grind up a skull and use the bits as bullets. It's ridiculous. Doom is ridiculous as a franchise in the best way possible, and it looks like they've just turned that up to 11 with this one. Yeah, I'm super excited for this.
Crash, you're not a Doom guy, are you?
I'm not normally a Doom guy. I thought this looked amazing. I think this is the most hype I've been for Doom. I think just the change up, you're riding dragons, there's the mech, the way the shield works, like all of it, I think just looks really dope, and it's enough of a change to that formula that I'm hoping it gets me drawn in. Because the problem with Doom has always just been sort of setting for me more so than really gameplay, because those games play good, they look good, all that stuff fantastic. It's just that little bit that keeps me from being pulled in, and I'm hoping it looks like this game does have that for me. So I'm very, very excited for it. I think the showing was really, really dope.
It has a shield with like a chainsaw on the end of it, Christ. Of course you're hyped. Who couldn't be? Who couldn't be, you know?
Someone, I'm sure.
I'm sure there's plenty of people out there. Moving on to a game that obviously got me very, 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 very excited. I've been waiting years for this game since it was first revealed in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. State of Decay 3. We finally got to see in-engine and gameplay of State of Decay 3. I'll let Despawn start off because I've got plenty to say. Despawn, what you got to say about this one?
Oh, I'm so happy this is still a thing, and it looks this good. Like, I love the zombie genre, and I love a survival game. And I know a lot of people have their issues with State of Decay 2, but I loved my time with it. This feels like a more grittier version of that, and it seems like there's a lot more emphasis on the co-op aspect. Man, I am super excited for this. I love what they're showing here. The move to Unreal 5 it's definitely worth it. Like, I think we see like little snippets of gameplay later on in the trailer, and I think it looks so good with the lighting and the way all the character movements and the NPCs. Everything is speaking to me on a visceral level, and I love it.
Crash?
Yeah, I like the showing. You know, we saw, what was it during the Summer Games Fest showcase? The zombie game.
Oh, No More Room in Hell 2.
No More Room in Hell 2. We saw that, and I was like, I don't know if I need to see State of Decay 3. And then we saw State of Decay 3. And I'm like, nope, I needed to see this still.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good showing. The moment where it looks like gameplay and we're not sure, we're watching how the characters move, and then we realize, oh shit, that is gameplay. That was hype. I think it was a really good showing, and I think it's the showing they needed to do the evolution of the game that a lot of people were expecting with 2, where 2 was just sort of, we added co-op, and it obviously better than the first one in terms of
Nope. I will slap you up. No,
graphics.
We're not doing that. No.
Not in any regard. It's not better than the first one in any regard.
I do not count State of Decay 2.
So you list everything in State of Decay 2. Okay, cool. I'm not gonna argue with you. I never played State of Decay 1, to be fair. I never played State of Decay 1, to be fair. So I'll give that to you.
I stand on business. I don't like State of Decay 2. I'll stand on business.
Okay. Regardless, it is an evolution that people have been expecting since they were bought by Microsoft. And so to see that and to see all of it play out and to get the gameplay and all that stuff, I think was incredibly dope. A dope showing for them.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me was I've been sitting here, you know, on the podcast every week, right? Whenever the State of Decay comes up in the conversation, especially those early times back in 2020, saying, wait until you see what this studio does with a AAA budget. Wait until you see what this studio does with money. And I think there was a part of me that said it believing it, but there was a part of me that wasn't sure either, you know, because State of Decay 2 was such a disappointment for me. Maybe it's not for other people, Chris, but definitely for me it was. And from what we've seen, it is exactly what I envisioned in my head when it comes to its moment-to-moment gameplay. You know, it looks more like a AAA zombie survival game. It has all the touchstones we expect from a State of Decay game in terms of like opening your door when you're driving down the motorway and smashing up zombies. Obviously, the combat system there, of which the little that we did see, looks exactly what we'd expect, an evolution from what we expect. I guess there's a lot of questions still to be asked when it comes to all things State of Decay, right? I'm still looking for base building. I'm looking for the improvements on the multiplayer system, because the multiplayer system in 2 was absolutely trash in terms of like storage and weapons and things like that. I'm hoping all of that stuff has taken evoluted. That's not the right word I was looking
Evolved?
for. Evolved is the word I was looking for. Thank you. Evolved in a way in which we expect a AAA game to look. The gameplay and the graphics here 100% have done that. It's everything else that makes State of Decay, we need to wait and see, right? And obviously no reveal date in sight. We didn't get a 2024. We didn't get a 2025. We didn't even get a 2026. Diesel, I think it was you that said it. Did you not say that they've gone through a whole thing? Go into that.
Yeah, so I'd seen like bits and pieces here and there. Like they've gone through restructuring in management, Undead Labs. So people have left the company, and in between the middle of all of this production, they decided to move to Unreal Engine 5, which obviously it shows it's fantastic looking in the trailer. But so I think obviously that's delayed the development a little bit. But it seems they're back on track. And yeah, I am excited to see when we finally do get that release date.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too, definitely. Next up, we got Dragon Age. How the hell do I say it? Velgard?
Velgard.
Yeah, I'm saying that correct. Good. Not my favorite trailer of the showcase, but I do understand that Dragon Age is a huge IP, obviously, for EA. And people love Dragon Age. People love Dragon Age. I thought the trailer set the tone very well for what I'm expecting from the game. But I would have loved to have seen gameplay for a game that's coming out this year.
Yeah, same. But like you say, I am definitely that person that's excited for this. But yeah, I would also have liked to see gameplay. But for the first proper look of it since the rename, I think this did a really good job. Because for those that don't know, the Dread Wolf is very much like a bad guy focused name.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk story stuff, but the fact that it looks like they are now focusing more on the squad that you'll build, I think gives me a little bit more hype, because I think that's the best part about BioWare games is building out your party. So the fact that they're doing that and kind of like the name change seems to be the focus of that, I'm hyped for it.
We are getting gameplay in like 2 days. Is that what you're
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah. So it makes sense why we didn't gameplay. Tonally, I thought it was okay. I didn't dislike tonally. I thought it looked cool for me. These games are all about gameplay and being in those worlds, and you don't really get that until you play the game. I liked it enough to be excited for it. The only Dragon Age game I've played was Inquisition, so I'm looking forward to this. Super excited to finally get to see it, because this got revealed how long ago?
A long time.
I want to say 2-3 years.
Yeah, so to finally like see and know that it's coming is incredibly hyped. I thought it was a good showcase. Not a good show, like just a good showing of the game overall to get people excited. And then 2 days later, the gameplay, I think they did what they needed to do with it.
Tone, right? I think tone's key for a trailer like this, and it definitely has that, which, yeah, we're happy about. Yeah, June 11th for the gameplay, which is tomorrow of the day we recorded this. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. By the time this comes out, I'd assume. Next up, one for Despawn, and probably Despawn only, if I'm being totally honest. Starfield, Shattered Space, and more. We got to look at the first expansion for Starfield, which is called Shattered Space. We already knew that. I'll say, because I haven't got much to say on it, actually, what they were trying to go for, they now, in this expansion, to be honest with you, does it make me want to come back? Absolutely not in any way, shape, or form. Doesn't change the menu system, does it? Let's be honest. But what they were showing gameplay-wise did actually look quite good. We'll go to you next, Crash, because otherwise this one's going to talk for hours. Otherwise,
yeah. I like the showing. I kind of like when I saw this, I was like, I wish this is what Starfield was from the beginning. It's too late now for me with Starfield. Maybe if they do this with the next Starfield or whatever, I'll be hyped at go. But I like more of the sci-fi, like alien elements to my sci-fi games, and I feel like Starfield was kind of barren in that aspect, and this seems to have a bit more of that stuff. All you Despawn now, just
Despawn.
All right, here we go. This looked amazing. To me, this looked amazing. As someone who's played through the story a couple of times now, being able to, like, for those that don't know, this is kind of leading into the, I think you pronounce it House Varum, which is basically the evil serpent is going to eat humanity religion. So I'm kind of interested to see how that's going to play out, because they kind of hint it a little bit throughout the game, but like this is the first time we're going to like fully delve into it. But the thing that excites me the most, and which maybe bring you guys back a little bit,
no,
Creation Kit. Nope. You don't think the modders changing up the menu system is going to fix it for you?
No,
I can mod the game right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for it. Like, I'm excited to see what the community does with this. And yeah, like Shattered Space, I've been looking forward to it since I finished the story. So yeah, and the fact that it's coming this year, let's go. No date yet, which is a shame, but you know,
We did
it
get a
is what
date
it is.
for obviously the creation kit and stuff. That's all out now, by the
Yeah,
way.
that dropped last night.
One thing about dates, because we're going to keep talking about it, I would assume that a lot of 2024 dates means that Xbox has more like showcases and directs planned for the rest of the year
got
where they'll be
Gamescom.
announcing stuff.
We've got Gamescom.
Gamescom's next.
You have Gamescom. Yeah. I imagine we'll get another developer direct at some point that'll give some announcements there as well. So
Yep.
not having dates here isn't the worst thing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. And like I said,
Absolutely.
getting
Absolutely.
years is enough for me right now. Like I say, I think let's stop on this subject a little bit because I think this kind of works well for Xbox because they're being they're not, the issue they had in the past was very much like they'd set a date so far in the future and then they get to that date and they'd have to postpone it, there'd be something will come up, you know, working through COVID and all that. And it's like,
That's game dev though.
yeah, but it left a bad taste. And I think I prefer it this way of just saying, yeah, you are getting this game this year. We'll give you the definite date when it's a definite date.
I
I
think
kind of like that.
I think the problem with that is if a game that has 2024 and you delay it to 2025 or 2025 to 2026, you're gonna get the same issue. That I don't think that problem goes away with
I
what they're
agree.
doing here.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, right? You're setting people up like for failure at the end of the day because people are expecting things. As soon as there's a level of expectation, I think I prefer it when there's a date and then it gets pushed to next year, personally. Because then at least in my head, it's like, well, at least you were trying to work towards that date. Where when I get 2024 and it gets pushed into 2025, it's like, was you actually trying to push it for 2024? Or is it just a marketing thing? And again, whether or not this was a 10 out of 10 showcase, I've watched plenty of interviews now already through this not E3 period. I don't believe a word Xbox says still. It's not, that's not, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid and now like, oh yeah, daddy feels bad. No, I'm not doing any of that anymore. Like, I prefer dates because they're in my head. And even if those are lies, at least you're then putting your flag down in the sand sort of thing, saying, we're going to hit this. And then when you don't, there's usually a reason. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
Fair enough.
Moving on, Fallout 76, Skyline Valley is the new update coming to the Vault Dwellers. You can play as a ghoul in this, and it is coming in early 2025. This is an interesting one. This is the first new map in Fallout 76 since the game came out many moons ago now. Does this make you guys want to go back at all? Jump back into Fallout 76?
No,
Nope.
it didn't. Like, it looked cool. I was excited for the people who are hyped for the game and still play it actively, but for me, not really anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just, again, it's weird. Coming off Fallout TV show, I'm hyped. I love Fallout again. I'm in the Fallout mood, but I'm not in the Fallout 76 mood.
Yeah. It's
So-
just Fallout 76 is a weird one because it basically it is a new Fallout game, but it very much feels like this kind of weird like middle ground of like what could be great, but it doesn't quite get there. And yeah, like I tried Fallout 76 a few times now, especially after recent updates as well. It's just like, yeah, it's just not quite Fallout enough for me. So yeah, I'm not really going to go back to it again for another expansion.
Fair enough. A game that took me by surprise, and I'm super excited it's launching in Game Pass, Expedition 33. The game coming from Sandfall Interactive. Role-playing game, very much in the vein. The way I can explain the systems, the gameplay systems, is very much Yakuza Like a Dragon-esque in terms of like, and that's the only game I've ever played. Remember, I'm not a big RPG person, so if you've got a better example, please tell me. But in terms of like, I've only ever played turn-based games where you pick, move, do move, game does move. And that's it. Like, and with Yakuza Like a Dragon, obviously you have the pick, move, do move, and then it will come up with a button selection to then maximize damage and things of that nature, where this game has a similar system. On top of that, it looked like a bow system and just many other things that look really cool.
A little bit of information came out is that there is like more interactivity when you can aim for like weak points when you're playing and stuff like that. So it is more than just like button prompts and timing the buttons and stuff like that. It does feel like an evolution to turn-based games, which I think for me is the most exciting thing. This is probably for me, the most hype thing, other than what we'll talk about at the end of the showcase. I think this was, I really, really love the look for this. For me, it kind of reminded me of what Persona did visually for JRPGs at the time with Persona 5. And this is another evolution for how they look. And I'm very excited to see how this is received when it comes out. And hopefully it does well to sort of incentivize developers as well to sort of take risks with turn-based games instead of doing the same old press button, attack gets done, you move on to the next thing.
Yeah,
that gets boring really fast.
100% agree with you. I think that's my biggest takeaway was like the gameplay instantly was like, oh, that looks different. I like that. And then not only that, the story and the tone they were setting for the world. And you got Ben Starr, looks like he's going to be the main voice of one of the main characters in this, which is kind of game industry darling right now. It's I was really impressed with Expedition 33. I didn't expect to, especially now becoming a Final Fantasy fan and now being used to playing after you've played like a Yakuza Like a Dragon for 100+ hours, you now understand what an RPG is. I think it helps when you play Final Fantasy Rebirth and then Yakuza Like a Dragon back to back. You go, well, if I really enjoyed these games, I probably enjoy RPGs now.
Yeah.
Like realistically, right? So I'm now more interested to give these type of games a try. Where beforehand I'm like, not for me. Carry on. Where now I'm like, yeah, this looks really, really good. It's a very darker color palette, really, throughout. It felt like even the light moments felt very dark and gloomy. Reminds me of, again, I'm playing Elden Ring as well right now as well, right? It's like that similar art style, dark colors, big beasts, big monsters. Yeah, I really, really liked what I saw. Probably up there as one of my game of the shows, but not my game of the show, unfortunately.
Yeah. It kind of almost reminded me of Lies of P a little bit aesthetically.
Just
that steampunk-esque vibe. But yeah, like having that kind of like vibe mixed with the story that they're trying to tell. Like the story feels dark, and I love that. And then like I say, that turn-based RPG combat, leaning very much into the Persona vibes. This is, like you guys said, like this is one of my standouts of the show. I didn't expect it, never heard of anything about this. The fact that Ben Starr's voicing in it, it's going to sound good. So I am very much on board with this one.
Yeah, I am right in thinking this is coming to Game Pass, right?
Yeah. I believe this one said it was coming to Game Pass day one.
Yeah. 2025 release date, so we'll see when that one lands next year. Next up, which is my game of the show after sleeping on it, South of Midnight. Compulsion Games is new third-person action-adventure game. It looks amazing. We finally got to see gameplay. It's going to be dropping in 2025. It gives me a warm feeling, which is nice when it comes to games. It gives me I don't know. Maybe it's now we've got family in Texas, so I've got that southern voices that I'm accustomed to now a little bit more. But yeah, instantly when the main character, and I don't know the main character's name yet, unfortunately, but as soon as she starts speaking and she's talking about her mom and the giant fish that she's riding, and he's talking about what you ain't heard of these stories before, and it fills me with warmth for some reason. Again, that's why we love video games, right? They bring out different emotions in different people in different circumstances, and this one for me is very much hitting everything in the right way. Again, I've been screaming for Xbox to have more third-person action adventure games. They have finally delivered. This is the third-person action adventure game I've wanted, and I'm excited to see what this fantasy swamp is gonna give us. We've already seen giant fishes with weird eyes and a giant crocodile with looks like a bloody house built on the back of it, and then now we get to see the gameplay itself, which looks. I want to see more. Obviously, I don't think we actually see any combat through this. Just walking and traversal.
We do get combat.
There is combat.
Yeah,
okay,
like one section of combat.
Must be forgetting that. I'll have to watch that back. But traversal looked really good. The only thing that jarred me a little bit was the walking, because it does look like it's very much like stop motion walking style. I'm hoping that's going to get smoothed out a little bit by the time this game comes to release in 2025, but we'll see.
I really hope there's a setting for that where you can just turn off the stop motion and it runs fluid. I don't like the stop motion. It took me out of it. And if we didn't get that gameplay portion where you get the combat, I think for
I'm
me
looking at
this
the
would have
gun
been.
pack now. I totally forgot about this.
Yeah, the combat looks clean. It looks
No, it
smooth during
does,
combat,
yeah.
which is important. It's everything outside of it that kind of like was a little bit off-putting to me. So hopefully there's an option to turn it
Everything
off or
outside?
minimize it. No, just the stop motion effect, not like the traversal and stuff like that. Just the stop motion and how that looked. Yeah, I like the look of like the actual game and what's going on. I like the world and the setting, the art style, all that stuff. It's just the stop motion that was a little bit off-putting.
I can't disagree with you more. Like, I love that art style. I love the direction that they've gone for. I think it works really well for me. I'm very excited for that. I hope they don't smooth it out too much because I think it will lose that unique feel to it for me. But again, that's just my personal preference.
I think a setting is the best thing they can do. Is like, do you want stop motion on? Do you want it off? I think.
I
I don't
like
know.
a motion blur in a way.
Yeah,
But you
exactly.
turn
I
that
don't
off and
know.
on.
I think it's an artistic choice they've gone for, and I like it. So, but yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. I really like the trailer. I thought it was really good, and looking forward to this one. Next up, World of Warcraft: The War Within, the brand new expansion for World of Warcraft being shown at the Xbox Showcase. Unfortunately, not coming to console like I really wanted it to, but it is on PC. No talk of Game Pass or anything like that, which I did think would happen. Maybe a little bit too early for something like that, but I could see. I still see a world where it goes into Game Pass console, the first 30, like the intro that you don't have to pay for.
Oh, like you get a trial for it.
That whole trial thing to like try and get you in. But clearly they're not in the mood to try and do that straight away. They want to show off their new expansion, which is the War Within. Chris, you've been actually you've played a lot of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I know you got me into it for a little while there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you didn't
like
stick
this?
to it.
I couldn't stick to it, bro. I can't stick to those type of games. We'll never have it. I won't ever play the other game, and they'll just be that's it. So
Macros?
Yeah, I know.
What's a macro? I don't know.
Did you like what you saw with the War Within?
Yeah, I liked it. I like they were running through all the past CGIs, and one thing that like I've given a lot of credit to Assassin's Creed for CGIs. World of Warcraft as well is like on another another level for CGIs. Blizzard in general, if you look at the Diablo, whatever they do, it's always phenomenal. So yeah, this got me hyped absolutely for it. I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll jump in again for the expansion, which I'm gonna do regardless, even without the trailer. But very, very, I think it was a very good showing to get people who are interested in World of Warcraft hype, and to have World of Warcraft just show up at the Xbox conference, I think is very, very big and telling for them, right? They're trying to be like, hey, these are all ours now. We're not going to like, I think this also shows that like Xbox also isn't just about the box. I think this goes hand in hand with like Doom going to PlayStation and stuff like that. But then you also get South of Midnight, which is an exclusive, and you do get like sort of they're expanding and they're growing and they're trying out different stuff, which I think if you're a fan of Xbox to a degree, you have to be happy that they're just not laying down and taking hits on the face. They are trying stuff at least.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think you made a really good point there of being like they are very much saying this is all Xbox. But even if it is just PC, it is still part of our ecosystem. And I think I think having it front and center as part of like one of the main points of this showcase is a really good way of doing that. I'm personally not going to go back and play this. Like, I haven't played WoW since Burning Crusade, and I don't think I'm going to go back, mainly for the reason Fix says, like, I like what little free time I have. It will all be gone if I go back to WoW, because I will definitely get neck deep in macros. So yeah, no, I'm avoiding this one like the plague for my own sanity, not because it looks bad. Like, this looked great, but yeah, like I can't do it. I went cold turkey. I can't go back.
Don't make me go back, Mom, please. Next up, we have Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which of course is the remake of the 2004 Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater game. It looks amazing, if we're being totally honest. Like, there's a lot of like we gave Capcom their props when they got themselves out of the hole. And Konami do it too. I doubt it, because all they have is Metal Gear, but
they have Castlevania. They have the IPs. They have some level of IPs.
What else they got?
Castlevania and Metal Gear Solid's enough. They have
that's-
Yu-Gi-Oh! Give me a bomb-ass Yu-Gi-Oh game.
I do have
I mean,
Yu-Gi-Oh! That's a good point. Damn,
Silent Hill.
That is Konami.
Yeah, I guess.
That's coming
They,
soon as
they
well.
have the IPs to do it.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
I think.
But at the time, I wouldn't have seen it happening with Capcom either, to be fair.
True.
That's a good point. I
Is
think
it
this is
now
going to
Konami's
sell like
business?
hotcakes though. This is one of the games that I'm interested to see how much involvement Xbox have on the marketing side of things. Because we've seen a few games here, that obviously we've mentioned already, but like this is an interesting one because I do associate Metal Gear so heavily with PlayStation. You know, like as someone who I collect Resident Evil stuff and I collect Metal Gear stuff, so it's weird seeing Xbox, you know, having the rights to promote this, and obviously this is the second time now that we've seen Delta Snake Eater at the Xbox Developer Direct, and now this showcase as well. Yeah, man, I'm really, really, really excited for this. It's a game that I never beat in the Metal Gear series. I have a walkthrough guide for it. I think I might even have a Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater statue somewhere in the loft as well with my Metal Gear stuff. Yeah, I know I'm not good at stealth. I've spoken about it on the podcast many times before. Metal Gear holds a very, very, very special place in my heart, especially Sons of Liberty. So
yeah.
feel free to remake that one next, please. I'd go crazy for a remake for that.
I mean, you've got to think this is the start of like a beautiful thing, right? They are got to be starting the entire series from scratch.
It just seems weird to start at free.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the start of anything yet. I don't know if they're testing water. They could just have been like, they could have greenlit it, and now that they're seeing all the appraisal, they might be like, hey, maybe now we go back. But like, I think if you're starting remakes, you just go all the way to one.
Well, Capcom didn't do it though.
The way I look at it is canonically the start of the story.
That's true.
So I think
Okay.
that's the way they're doing it. So
That's true. That's
Snake
true.
Eater is So I
wish
can
No
there was
numbers on it.
There technically
that's it.
isn't a number on this. Technically, I know
Yeah,
we
no,
call it.
that's
we call it Metal Gear Solid 3, but yeah, it is technically Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So
That's
there isn't a number on
very
it.
good point.
Well, this is why I
actually,
think
yeah.
they've gone
No.
with Delta, because it's not 3. It's, you know,
So-
it's,
As somebody who's only played 4 and 5,
Oh my god!
I've only played 4 and 5.
fucking guy. Yeah.
What is the order of the games?
It would be Snake Eater.
Snake Eater 1,
1, 2,
2,
4,
3.
5.
Yeah, no, sorry, yeah, 4.
Well,
five,
5 would be before all of them.
Oh yeah, no, 5 would be before. Yeah.
Okay.
No, so it
So,
would
yeah,
be
no,
it'd
yeah.
be Delta
No.
5, 1, 2, 4.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Delta's even before 5. Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
Delta's the start.
Yeah. Delta's the
Okay.
start.
Yeah, so funny enough, never played 4 and 5.
You never
That's a
played
lie.
5?
I played both of them. Didn't
Yeah.
like either of them.
Okay.
Okay.
It came in the open worldness for me is where I struggle when it comes to Metal Gear. I really like the constraints in 1 and 2,
Yeah.
Solid and 2, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where the open worldness got me very. I don't know. I've gotten better at open world games. That was very much in the world where like the only open world game I really understood at the time was GTA. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
outside of that, I was very much like, too much choice, too much freedom. What do
Yeah.
I do?
Give me one
Like, I
path.
don't like it. Just tell me what you want me to do. You know?
Yeah,
So,
it's that optional paralysis where you're just like, well, you got 20 things you can do. I don't know which one to do. Yeah,
Exactly.
no, I get that. I never played 4. Or I lie, I never finished 4 because it's only available on PlayStation
PS3.
4. PS3,
It's
yeah,
so
sorry.
good though.
PS3,
It's just
PS3.
such a
Yeah,
shame.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
PS3. Yeah, it's such a shame. That game's so good.
Yeah,
I convinced my dad to trade me a PS3 for my Xbox just to play that game, and then loaded it up. You know, the start where you have to go past the robots.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want there to be these again. Remember, dumb kid fixer. I'm a dumb idiot. Like
Push
I've been a
everything,
dumb
yeah,
idiot
yeah.
most of my life. But I was like, this isn't Metal Gear. Why is there so many robots? I'm like, bro, this whole game's about fucking robots, you idiot. Like, what are you on about? But yeah, didn't realize. I told my dad to swap it back. I thought, no, I'm not doing it. So yeah, crazy.
Well, I have it. It's in my pile of PS3 games next to me,
oh yeah, I have it.
but I don't have a PS3 anymore.
Oh.
So, like, yeah.
It was bad for you, mate. I do.
You know what? I hope
Doing-
you're right about the remaking all of them, and they get to
Four.
Metal Gear Solid 4 at some point. I would love to
No,
play through that
you
game.
need
Yeah.
to get to Metal Gear Solid 2, mate. Trust me.
I think the next thing we're going to probably get is that Master Collection 2, right? Where we get the second half of the games.
Maybe probably, but
Damn, we ain't talking
If it's
about
a
that. Why you
remake, I
change the
don't-
subject? Get out of here. Get out of
Yeah.
here. We want this. All right, we
Yeah,
want
we do.
this.
It's true, we do. We do.
Moving on, Sea of Thieves has got a new update coming for season 13. It is dropping on July 25th. You'll be able to become an evil pirate. Will it be a villain of the high seas?
Yes.
Go and do that.
Okay.
Don't despawn, you liar.
I want to be a villain.
You'll only play this if we all play this. You're not going to
Yeah,
go
that's
out of
true.
your way to play this on your own.
No, God, no. Like, I will not. I
we're
will
not-
never play Sea of Thieves again on my own.
I will never go back to Sea of Thieves again after we did the Jack Sparrow stuff, and that was like, no.
Painful. Yeah. yeah.
yeah.
It took us too long to get there. I wasn't interested. So
Yeah.
shout out to all the Sea of Thieves fans out there. More content coming for you, even the PlayStation fans. So enjoy. Next up, Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn is coming on July 18th on Xbox and PC. This is from the creators of Ashen, if you remember that game. Launched in Game Pass. I believe this is also in Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it looks like a Souls-like. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It's not so much a Souls-like, but
Yeah.
it's one of those action adventure games. I like the art style. It still didn't. This is probably one of the weaker games of the show for me, though. But I also didn't like Ashen either. So it doesn't really surprise me that I'm not driving with this as such.
Fair enough.
I like the showing. I think every time they show this game, it looks better than the previous one. And I think this one, by a pretty large margin, was better than the last showing for the game. I'm still excited for it. I get what you're saying. There is something about it that does look, I don't want to say off-putting, but a little bit off with the game. And I think it's just one of those cases you have to sit down and play the game and feel it out. But I am very excited for this regardless of that, because it does look really dope. I love the theme of it. I love you talking to a god and the god telling you to kill all the other gods. And like, there's nothing going to go wrong with that. Absolutely. Everything's good. So I'm very much down for the vibe of the game.
Yeah, I think, like you guys said, like this is the best. Like every time this game's shown, it's better, and I think this is the best showing easily. Also, I think I said it in the reactions, but shout out to the editor of this trailer, because like the editing is fantastic. But yeah, no, this is one of those games. Like with it being in Game Pass, I'm 100% gonna jump into it. Otherwise, I don't know if I would. Like, I don't know if this would be a game I go looking for, but it's definitely what I'm gonna try out, and I think that's what makes Game Pass great. Because like this is definitely a game I would have probably just skipped, but now I don't have to.
Fair enough. A game that got Crash very excited. Age of Mythology Retold. Go ahead, Crash. You're excited.
This
Talk about it.
is by far the best Age of game. I don't want to hear nothing about no Age of Empires. This is it. This right here is peak. I'm super excited for this. This is very much so a childhood game for me that I played. I'm really, really looking forward to jumping back in. I hope it does well enough to incentivize another Age of Mythology game to be made, because I don't think they made any other than the first one. I really like it. It's more Age of Empire, to be honest, with just mythological stuff in the game. If you like Age of Empires, it's definitely worth checking this out. I'm excited. I don't think there's much to say because it is just more of Age of Mythology. They didn't announce anything new for it or anything like that. So
Yeah, releasing September 4th on Xbox Series and PC day and date, which is cool. Does this have multiplayer or not?
yeah, it does.
I might play it with you.
PvE or PvP?
UP.
Oh, okay.
Might play it with you. It might be fun to play with you. Maybe.
You gonna jump in also, Despawn?
Next game.
Moving on. Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark. Finally, we got a look at the initiatives game. Perfect Dark is here. We are seeing gameplay. We are impressed? Question mark. I don't know. I was more hot on it last night than I am this morning. I watched it again this morning and was like, okay, it does look good. I'm not gonna sit here and say it doesn't. It does look good. I just think I have to remember the way they touted this studio and what they set this up against. This was meant to be the game that brings Xbox in competition with The Last of Us and God of War and games of that stature. And that wasn't me saying it. That was the staff they were poaching from different studios to build their next big quadruple A studio. Now, I really did like what I saw of Perfect Dark. I'm not a Perfect Dark fan at all. I have no... I was a GoldenEye boy, so I didn't care about it on the N64. I didn't care about it. I had the special case back in the day for this game on the 360. Didn't care about the game then. So Perfect Dark isn't a game that I have been clamoring for. I will say it's a good game to have in the Xbox's ecosystem. I just wish... I don't know. There's more I want to see of this before I'm willing to commit my excitement fully. But I do like the wall running. I do like the story that seems to be being told here. Obviously, spy, espionage. That all looks good. And yeah, you can't really complain about that. I enjoyed what I saw, but I'm scared. I'm scared, guys. I'm scared.
Okay. You think they've promised too much and have delivered too little? Is that kind of what you're getting for here?
I don't know, man. I look at Xbox's ecosystem and the portfolios, right? And I'm just like, was this the game we needed out of everything? And don't get me wrong, it's the game we're getting, so why does that even matter? But I can see this game be a swimming in sevens, where it starts strong and then it really doesn't stick its landing. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but it's just what I can see from what I saw here. Doesn't look bad. Gameplay looks very good. Traversal looks really good. I don't know. It's one of those games where it's been in development a really long time. Can it live up to even my expectations, which are not even that high, and they're still a little bit higher than what it probably should be for this game?
Okay.
I like the showing. I think as somebody who's not wasn't into Perfect Dark, don't really care for it. I was 100% with Fix most of the time when we talked about Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
I think the showing got me interested in it. I do think when you compare the showing to a lot of the messaging when they first open up the initiative, I don't think it is in sync, but I think that's calling anything a quadruple A, I think is a mistake. Developer, not developers, because it's usually not developers saying it, but spokesperson and heads should not be saying quadruple A. You're setting expectations so high that bar will never be met. And it ruins sort of certain things. Because I think the showing is really good. I like the fact that you have the gun. There is the melee combat, the wall running, the parkour. It all looked good. The stealth elements, I'm in it. This is 100% my type of game from what I've seen. So I'm very, very much so looking forward to it. But I think with that little bit of backdrop that you just mentioned, there is a little bit of hesitation. Maybe it doesn't look like it'll be the game that they promised, but that's not a bad thing. I think just going forward, set the messaging right.
I think they have. I think they've set the messaging perfect.
Yes.
I think I am still holding on to something that was said 4 years ago, which is probably unfair of me, if I'm being honest.
But it's not just you, to be fair. It is other people as well. You're not alone in that sort of the pool of thoughts there. There are other people sharing your sentiment to a degree. So I do think still, regardless, what we saw is better than what I thought we'd get with all the people leaving the company and the game not being mentioned, all this stuff. So I do think for me, it is overall a positive for the game.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I think I'm going to stop mentioning the quadruple A thing because I think it's a total unfairness to the company, the developers that are working on this. I think just see it as a AAA franchise that they're working on. I think they are doing great stuff here. I love the idea of the espionage and the gadgets and everything else that they're adding in there. I love the story that they're trying to tell, that kind of near future dystopian kind of evil conglomerates and all that kind of stuff. I'm into that 100%. And from what they've seen of the combat and the gameplay and the guns and the different elements that you can use as part of that. So you can either go lethal or non-lethal, and apparently reading up on it after the fact, apparently that'll start having an effect on the game as well. I like that kind of stuff. It gives me very big Deus Ex vibes, which yes. I loved that. So another one of that kind of game, I am here for it. So yeah, like I'm like, again, it's taken a while to get to this point, but we've seen it now, and I love it. And yeah, I want to see more.
Yeah, I get you. All right. Another game that we did see a lot more of, or at least got a tone for its next expansion, Diablo 4, Vessels of Hatred. Fantastic CGI trailer, setting the tone perfectly for what that is. Diablo 4 is such a weird one with me, where like, I'd never been into Diablo, played Diablo 4, obviously, enjoyed my time with Diablo 4, beating the main story, but then never went back to do any of the dungeons and things like that, which is a lot of the fun of the game, because I found out the way their seasons worked. How does this all work with expansions and things like that, Chris? Like, what's going on? Help me out here.
As far as it does look good, as far as I'm aware, they actually changed the way seasons work, and I haven't kept up with Diablo enough to like really talk about it, but I do think they took the concern that you're talking about into account and made some changes to it. I don't know if it was just like helping you level up faster so your characters get caught up quicker than before, what the case is, but I think expansions work the same way. A new season comes out with the expansion, you make a new character. I think for this, you would just carry on with your main character to play the expansion story, if I'm not mistaken, firsthand, so you don't start with a fresh character. It's really hard to tell because they haven't talked a lot about what the expansion entails themselves. They just sort of did the trailer, and the trailer looked fantastic. I think it set this tone of whatever they're going for the next bit of story very, very well. I feel like without them giving more information, it is a little bit hard to talk about, which I don't know if there's an interview out there with anybody from the team where they talk more about it.
I get you. Yeah, Despawn, you excited for this?
No, but I always love seeing a new Diablo trailer because they are quite arguably the best in the business at them. And yeah, this one is sufficiently gory, so you know, I'm a fan. But yeah, no, again, I think, like you say, the issues that I had, that you had with the way the seasons act is the same issues I had. And yeah, I just never went back after playing the first time, which is a shame because I enjoyed my time with it. But I think that's my problem. When I play a game, my initial thing is it's always like the character through that game. And the fact that they make you change that kind of like sullied me a little bit, that I just never wanted to go back to it. But yeah, I don't know. Like for those that are into Diablo, I think this is going to be a great addition to the story. And the trailer is one of the best looking I think arguably it is the best looking trailer of the entire showcase. But yeah, not for me.
Fair enough. The best trailer of the entire showcase is the one we're going to talk about next, I think, personally. Okay. Which is we finally got to see gameplay from Fable. And I think this is where, like, just real quickly, it's like look at what we've spoken about already, and now we've only just got to Fable. Mm-hmm. And like, it's not even the end of the show, which is crazy. Yeah, Microsoft finally showed off their new trailer for Fable. Started with very much the normal British banter that we was expecting from the game. The tone is there, the world is there, the gameplay is there. From what I can see, yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting one where this is a reboot. Obviously, this is all new Fable. This isn't. There's a few things I'm sad about because I'm pretty sure we're not going to get co-op in this game. This is going to be very much a single player Fable game. Fable to me, especially, I played 2 and 3 with Haley, so it was very much a co-op experience for us. But I love what they're doing here with Playground, and I think you really do have to congratulate Playground because they've gone from making Forza Horizon to making what looks to be an open world third person adventure game, with graphics that are beautiful, with set pieces that look remarkable, and yeah, I'm blown away by the amazing look of everything Fable, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's it for me. It's just they've nailed the look and the feel of Fable, but brought it into a modern setting. Well, not a modern setting, but like a modern game. And yeah, I am super excited for this. I think I'm not too bothered about the co-op stuff, but that's personally because I didn't play it co-op. I played it all solo. But I think, yeah, what we've seen of the combat so far and the gameplay that they've shown in this trailer has got me super excited. It feels very much. I don't want to put too much kind of emphasis on it, but it feels very similar to the way that God of War plays, of that over the shoulder kind of third person combat. But like using those magical abilities and still having the British humor in there, I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, you're gonna say Fix?
No, please.
I thought this was a great showing. I'm looking forward to it. I think Despawn, I'm with you on the co-op. For me, co-op in Fable games always felt a little tacked on, which at the time I think worked great for co-op. It's what co-op was. I think if you do the level of co-op Fable had back in the day, today it doesn't work out. It is a down, it is a negative point. So I do think that takes a lot of effort. If they are going to do co-op, I'd rather them nail a first iteration in single player and then be like, how can we add co-op to this to make it work? So I'm 100% cool if there isn't co-op in this. But from what we've seen, I think humor is on point. I love the look of the combat. I love the look of everything that we got to see. It makes me really excited for something that I was already excited for. No date, unfortunately, but I don't think any of us were expecting.
Expected to be 2025. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it was great, fantastic. I echo what both of you said for the most part.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Honestly, that's very, 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 very excited. Next up, there's a few different games which I feel like we're going to blast through because they were probably the lower period of the showcase, but still not bad by any stretch of the imagination. You got Fragpunk, which is a world premiere. This is coming in 2025. This was it's like a 5-on-5 shooter with cards that twist and change different elements of the entire game. The big things they showed off was like the map being turned upside down. That was one of them. The other one was like a big head mode, which is not a mode. It's very much a card where it just makes all the characters' head big. I think that's amazing. I feel like this is like... it's sad to me because I don't think this game's going to do well. I feel like this is going to be one of those games that we play, we enjoy it for a weekend, maybe 2 weeks max, and then it doesn't... we don't see it after that. But this is kind of where people like me are going to go to enjoy shooters in the future. I feel like as I get older and I still enjoy shooting, like first person shooters and multiplayer, I try and play XDefiant right now, and it's just like, Jesus, it's so hard. And I play Call of Duty, and usually Call of Duty is fun for the first week and then becomes very hard. Games like this that like add a dramatic change to like big head mode and like just little things where you can't learn the meta as such straight away. I feel like this is where the future of like a lot of multiplayer shooting games are going to go. And I really liked what they showed in this game. I just worry for a game like this of how long it's going to survive against the Black Opses and the XDefiants and, the Valorants coming to console and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's my main issue is you're talking about coming up as a 5v5 hero shooter when you've got Valorant around the corner on consoles, you've got Marvel Rivals about to drop. There are, Overwatch trying to make a resurgence every 6 months. It's a limited space for these kind of games. And while this does feel unique and fun, it's like it kind of, these kind of games are kind of built on the back of that kind of like higher tier level of gamer. And I don't know if this is the one for that.
Problem I have with this, and I think it was a great showing, but the problem I have with this is the same problem I have with Concord, which is the same problem I have with Marvel Rivals, is like you have to do something at this point to set yourself apart in this genre. And Marvel Rivals seems like it's kind of done that, but for the other two and this, like, who knows if they've set it enough to keep a player base, because it's not just that I enjoy it enough, it's that there's a player base to keep the game alive and keep the matches fun and entertaining long enough, right? Because it is a multiplayer game at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Next up was a game that Crash absolutely hated, trashed it, thinks it's absolute, should exist in any way, shape, or form.
No. I didn't say none of that.
Crazy to me personally, but that's what he said. Winter Borrow, which is the little mass returning from home to a devastation while he's having to create a new home and looking for his auntie. This is in Game Pass, which is dope. I really actually quite digged it, way more than I was expecting to dig it, if I'm being totally honest with you. The idea of I like survival games and cutting trees and picking mushrooms and all that crap, to be honest with you, in games, and then crafting, and this game has all of that. So I feel like if this is a fun 5 to 10 hour experience, I think I'll like it. I think if it overstays its welcome is where I'll have a problem with it, I guess.
Yeah. So I think I was very like not interested when it first showed up in the trailer. I think I was dealing with technical issues at the time as well, so I wasn't really paying attention
I think
to
I just
it.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, rude. But yeah, rewatching it this morning, I actually am a lot more interested in this one now. Like you say, I love a good survival game. It gives me big Don't Starve vibes. If anyone's ever played that, like, and I love that. I love the idea of it being like a permadeath kind of thing, and you've just got to survive as long as you can. And it feels like that's kind of the vibe they're going for, especially with the art aesthetic as well. So yeah, I'm kind of interested in this one. I'll definitely be playing it when it drops on Game Pass. Does that mean I'm going to be playing it 6 weeks to a couple of months down the line? Who knows? But we shall see.
Not Crash though, because he hates the game.
Yeah, he absolutely hates it, despises it.
I mean, I won't play it, but not because I hate it, not because what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
what he didn't say is that he really hopes that the developers stub their toe, which I think was like a bit uncalled for.
I hope both. I just want this to be on record. I hope both Fix and Despawn step on a Lego.
Whoa!
I just want that to be on
Wow!
That'd be really hard in my house. There's no Lego in here at all.
Yeah, that's why you should magically step on one. You'll know that it's because I wish that.
Damn.
Okay.
Damn.
All right.
Well, I've got a lot of Lego in my house, so that's actually a likely thing, and I can't believe you'd be that mean.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Next up, Mixtape. This is the game from the makers of The Artful Escape. I really like
Matt
this.
said it's fantastic.
Matt said fantastic. I really like the look of this. Expected in 2025, launching in Game Pass as well. It looks like, you know, that teenage story that we've come to expect in these type of games. I'm a big music fan. Again, the soundtrack. I said this this morning when I was rewatching the showcase. I love this. I think it looks really good. In the sequel of this game, I want it to be a hip hop soundtrack about a bunch of, you know, people from London, or a grime soundtrack about some kids from London. You know, I can't relate so much to the, you know, the music that's in this and the story that looks like it's being told. You know, it's the dad that's the police officer and the this and that. It's like it's very much. How do I explain it in my head? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not a story that I can relate to because it's not an experience I've been through. Happy to go on the journey and go through the experience, hence why I'll play the game. But I'd love to see a world that I have lived once in a game. I think that would be really cool. And Crash, I keep saying we should make a game. That's the game we should make. A walking simulator.
A coming of age.
That's 100% what I'm interested in doing.
Yeah. I'm down for a coming of age, hip hop, grime, walking sim, based in South London.
London, gang
late
life.
90s.
You know, imagine the story is, bro. Don't even, because I could easily like help with this. Like,
I'm down.
Like the story, the walking sim is like a group of people trying to make you join a gang. You're fighting against not joining there. Something happens to your brother. You then join against a rival gang. That story, bam, bam, bam. Oh, mate, it could be nuts. I'm just sad. That's just me. You'd play it.
Okay. I'd play it.
How does that not exist? I guess funding, right?
Funding, yeah.
That's probably a hard sell
Yeah.
to a publisher. Hey, I want to make this game about teenagers
Like
and
kids
gangs
and
in
gang
London.
violence. Yeah.
Youths and gangs.
Yeah, youths and gangs.
Celebrate.
Hey, that's life, though. Hey, that's
No,
life.
it is. I 100% agreed.
Yeah.
That's life.
Probably
That's
just
life,
not
man.
seen as a safe investment, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, I just need to find someone rich that can make games and will make the game I want just from the words I say.
They'll do it all. Like,
I need to do it all. They need to be rich. They need to be a multi-billionaire and know how to make games in a quick time.
Oh, you want it done fast as well.
Oh, you want it,
3 years at least, minimum.
Okay.
you want it fast, good,
And furious.
and cheap.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you can only have 2 of the 3. Sorry.
I quit. I don't want to do it anymore.
Okay.
Did you like the look of Mixtape though, boys?
Yeah, I did like the look of this one. I can relate because I'm, I grew up in the 80s listening to all of these kind of things and being, a suburban white kid. So yeah, I could relate more than I think than you said, like you say you can. But yeah, no, I like the look of this one. Like I say, Matt's not the only one who liked The Artful Escape. I enjoyed it as well. And yeah, like more from that studio is always good.
Crash.
Yeah, I think I'm with Fix on the relation. This isn't really like, it's not the music I listen to, not the setting I grew up in. I do think that this type of story is told a lot and it's generally pretty good. So from that aspect, I think the coming of age stories in the setting are usually good. I'm interested in playing it and seeing it. I never played Artful Escape. I have no relation to the developer in that regard. But I do like the way the characters would just be walking at some points and then they'd start floating, and like the artful aspect of it I think is cool, and it could definitely lead to some very interesting experiences, I think.
Fair enough. Next up, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. We know it's going to be a banger. We know it's going to be successful. We know that audience is going to absolutely destroy and love it. I didn't know Adsbo Studios developed this.
Asobo, yeah.
Yeah. Did I say it wrong?
Maybe not. I don't know. I always just assumed it was Asobo.
Asobo. Asobo.
I don't think
No,
it's
that sounds
Asbo.
wrong.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
that's a different thing. Yeah.
Ways, yeah, that's definitely a different thing. See, I told you, I know where I'm from. Despawn, I know where I'm from. I've got nothing really to say on this. It's more Microsoft Flight Sim 2024. You know,
More flying.
Yeah.
Commercial
November
flights now.
9th. November 9th coming.
There you go.
Yeah. Elder Scrolls Online, Gold Road, 10 years of Elder Scroll Online's anniversary. Gold Road drops on June 18th. Another game I don't really have anything to say, but no, this is huge, obviously, for the audience of people that play this every day. So
Yeah.
good for them. 10 years, you know.
10 years is a long time for a
10,
game.
10 years is a long time for a game.
10 years is a long time for a game, but 10 years is a long time for an MMO to keep going like this. Like, no, well played to them.
Next up, a game that does excite me, Life is Strange Double Exposure. This is the next installment in the Life is Strange world. Once again, we have got Max back. She's using her powers. I need you guys to carry on because I've got someone at my door. So talk about Life is Strange for me.
I could do that. Yeah, Life is Strange. A series I didn't spend a lot of time with. I never played the first. Well, I lie. I started the first one, never finished it, never played Beyond the Storm or Before the Storm? Cool. But I did play Life is Strange True Colors. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I'm interested because I think this is a different studio from the first games. So
Yes.
okay, so I'm very interested to see them playing with somebody else's characters.
I was gonna say I saw some chatter about like some people it not sitting right with a different developer working with characters that were previously established. And I get that sentiment, but I also think if you look at 343, they're working with Master Chief. You look at some of the other teams out there that have made games with characters that they didn't originally create. I think it could be successful. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I
a
don't know
be
if
all
this
end
is
all.
as malicious as people. I don't want to say people were saying it's malicious, but I think it's fine.
Yeah,
I've never played Life is Strange either, so I don't have a big connection to it. I do know of the three of us, Fix did play Life is Strange, and he's probably the one with the. You watched correction. He watched Haley play Life is Strange, which is what I meant.
Yeah.
No, well, that's a lie. I did play the last one.
True Colors?
Yeah, True Colors. But I only played like the first episode. Didn't jive with it a lot.
Okay.
I'm excited though. I am excited for this. It's one of those franchises that people have a very strong connection to Life is Strange.
Yeah.
The powers obviously make it very cool. I like the idea of. I do like the idea of it in this world. I'm just so sick of multiverses. Like different. I know that technically this isn't like a multiverse, but you know what I mean. Like the whole two different worlds affecting different. Like I'm so over that at this point. But I do like the spin on this. I do like Max as a character. So I'm looking forward to this one. October 29th, Xbox Series, consoles, and PC, and obviously it'll be on other platforms as well. Next up, Indiana Jones, The Great Circle. Thought this was Indiana Jones' best showing so far, personally, for me. As someone who's not an Indiana Jones fan, they really doubled down on story, which was good, because that is kind of going to be the thing that gets me from A to B in this game, right? Like, the gameplay looks good. We already saw that. I still kind of wish this was third person.
I get that, but it isn't. So, you know,
it isn't. So get over it.
I didn't want to say that last line, but yeah, just get over it. It's fine.
Still, coming 2024. Still no official release date for that either. So we expect to see that at Gamescom. Yeah, I like it. I like what we're seeing of this game now. I remember when it was leaked that this was coming, and I remember when it was announced that it was coming, and I was kind of like, I'm not too sure about this one. But this showcase really was like, okay, yeah, I will play this. I will give this a try. I will see if I can enjoy this outside of not being an Indiana Jones fan, which again, I spoke a lot of crap about this game, being like, who cares about this game unless you're old. So yeah, I'm interested to see if this does well, because I'm not sure if it will or not.
Fair. I think it's going to do great, but I am also an Indiana Jones fan. I should say that I'm an odd-numbered film Indiana Jones fan. Always the even number films are the worst ones. I don't know how.
Okay.
Temple of Doom and Crystal Skull, not great. Although I've saying that, I've not seen the latest one, so who knows. But yeah, no, I'm very excited by this one. Like, I think the number one thing that this trailer did for us was it nailed the feel of Indiana Jones. Like, which for me is the main part of this you've got to nail. Like, if you don't nail indie being indie, then I don't think you've got a good indie game on your hands. And I think they nailed that perfectly. The humor's there, the combat there, even down to the sound effects of him punching people. It feels like an Indiana Jones movie. And I think they nailed that perfectly. So yeah, no, I'm super excited for what they showed here. And yeah, like, who doesn't love seeing Nazis getting punched in the face?
You know, I agree with everything you said, Despawn, and I think that's kind of why I don't think I still don't care for this game. I think the humor was good, whatever. I just don't find myself caring about Indiana Jones. I don't find myself really too drawn in by the gameplay. I don't think it looks horrible by any means, but it just looks uninteresting for me personally.
That's fair.
But you're going to play it though, Crash, from start to finish, right?
I will not promise you to finish this game. I will not do that. I'll play it.
Okay. That's enough.
A game you will play from start to finish, though, is Mecha Break.
It's a PvP game. Every time we've seen this, I'm like, is this PvE? I think literally every time they've shown this, it's like, oh man, if this is PvE, they've got me, and then it's PvP, and I just like, nope.
It's not Gundam. It looks like it.
It does. It looks good, to be fair. It looks good. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't got the mindset for like a PvP game like that for a different time. Like a first person shooter, I've played FPSs. I can jump into that. Cool. I'm fine. I'll play that for like half an hour. It's easy to get adjusted to. This looks like I'd be legit learning something new, and I don't think I'm up for that.
I know
At
that time for
this
that.
old age of mine.
Old age of yours.
This old age.
Jesus Christ. Next up was one that threw me off, and not because the game didn't look good, just the name of it. I just associate this with something so different. Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which is this was the Souls-like I was talking about before, and the Souls-like game releasing on Xbox day one in Game Pass as well in 2025. This is very much Souls-like. It looked really good. I like what I saw of it. I just think again, I know I'm new to Souls-like, but Jesus Christ, that's all we've seen through this not E3. Like, the amount, I think we must have seen at least 10 plus not Souls-like games at these showcases, and it's like, okay, well, Jesus, this has become like the new first-person shooter where like everyone was making those once upon a time. Now it just feels like these Souls-like games seem like that's what everyone is making.
I mean, it's people reacting, right? Elden Ring wins Game of the Year. Everyone wants to make the next Elden Ring.
Yeah, but it can only be one Elden Ring, you know?
Yeah, I know. And it's coming in like 2 months, right?
When's it?
Yeah, this is it's
Shadow
not
of the
2
Entries in
months.
a month.
I was gonna
Is
say,
it next
it's
month?
less than that.
Shadow? Yeah.
It's 11 days.
Is it 11
Yeah.
days? Oh, Christ,
It's
I need
11
to hurry
days.
up.
Yeah.
I need to get on with my Elden Ring playthrough.
Right around the corner.
Damn. Okay, yeah, I've got to speed up my playthrough.
I'm
of
not
that
beating
then.
this game before the expansion.
You don't have to beat the whole thing. I think you have to get to a specific boss.
I've gotten to one of the specific bosses and can't beat him. So unless you're gonna come in and help me beat it,
Ooh, which boss?
Is it Radahn?
Radahn, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, but the best way to beat
Big
Radahn
man,
is with
small
the
horse.
summons.
Yeah. Big man, small horse. Yeah, he's trying to
that's
beat him
fun.
for summons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving
So
on.
I haven't sat there for hours doing it, but yeah, it just frustrated me. Anyway, did you like the look of Wu Chang?
Yes, I very much like the look of this one. Again, as somebody who's keeps trying to get back into Souls likes, this had that kind of like supernatural vibe that I kind of like and dig. So yeah, I'm going to give this one a go. Again, with it being on Game Pass, it'd be rude not to. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this looked amazing. I think I love Souls-like games. I think this looks dope. I'm very excited to see it. This is probably my behind 33. What's the name of the game? Why am I forgetting it already? Expedition 33.
Expedition 33. Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind Expedition 33 as far as like new stuff shown that we haven't seen before. This is probably the most excited thing other than what we're going to talk about at the end. Again, I will say I want to give Xbox a shout out for something that I feel like Sony did really well for a long time, which is find new studios and new games and sort of prop them up as sort of their own stuff and sort of show them to the world. I feel like Microsoft started it with Lies of P, and they're continuing to do it, especially in this showcase. So big props to them for doing that and going out and finding these games that could use exposure and sort of, I don't want to say attaching themselves to it, but sort of giving it the limelight in the moment, in the spotlight to really shine. Because I think this was another really dope showing.
Yeah, Xbox are doing really good in that aspect. I think, like you say, elevating games to be on the same level as their own first party stuff and like giving them a chance to shine in that spot. Like this did a really good, like this felt just as important as some of those other games. And kudos to Xbox for that.
I think it looked better than the game we're going to talk about next, if I'm being honest. Avowed. I just don't like the look of this game. I think I've come to terms with it. Not that I'm not the Outer Worlds guy anyway, and things like that. So not to be too surprised, but I was hoping I was going to really like Avowed. Set to come out this year in November. I believe it's November 12th that's been reported for dates. Every time I see this game, it doesn't get me more hyped. It probably gets me a little bit less hyped. If I'm being honest, it just doesn't do it for me. I'm still going to play it. I'm still going to check it out. I just didn't see anything here that we've not seen before in 100 different games, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, that's really all I got to say on it. Crash, what did you think of Avowed showing at the showcase?
I liked it. I thought the magic was cool. I liked the look of it. I liked the feel of it. As somebody who played Outer Worlds and wasn't like the sci-fi element was the biggest put off for me, I'm excited to see them make something in a fantasy setting and get to play that. I thought it was a good showing, but I'm also like of the mind that I enjoyed the first showing to a degree, and this is a better showing than that than the last time we saw it. So I really dug what we saw.
It's better than what we saw last time. Last time we saw it was very much like, oof,
Yeah.
this don't look great. It looks better than that, but just still something hasn't clicked for me with this game. I feel like it could be one of those games that like once I play it, I'm like, oh, this game's amazing.
Yeah.
But watching it just doesn't do it for me.
I get
Which
that.
I think is fair.
Yeah, for me, like I'm more leaning on the Crash side of this. Like, I think Xbox did a bad job of showing this game because, and I've said this before when we saw it last time, the extended deep dive that they did after the fact, where it was just like its own standalone thing, did a much better job of showing this game and what you can do in it. That I think that excited me more. And like right now, it's just like, I know it's coming still. That's all that these things are. It's like, oh, cool, it's still coming this year. I still get to play it this year. That's fine. I've seen enough in the past to know that I'm going to enjoy this. So yeah, I'm still hyped for this, but I still think they're doing a bad job of showing it, if that makes sense.
I want the next time we see this game before it releases, for whatever showing it to be, the size of whatever trailer they would do, just take a gameplay segment and be like, this is what just like combat looks like. No, not quests, not dialogue. This is just what combat looks like in a smooth run in one encounter. I think that would probably be the best showing from the game, because we get a lot of like, here's this spell and here's this spell and we're jumping to different parts. Yeah, which doesn't let people get a good grasp of what that combat looks like.
Yeah, it's very much very flashy and very in your face, and like I get that that's what they want to show, but it's like it doesn't give you the proper feel of how it's going to play gameplay wise. And again, final time I'll say it, the extended gameplay did that. Like, it showed what that felt like, and being able to mix and match between weapons and magic, or just dual casting magic, and like building out that, and then like taking alternative routes on how you play the game and how you solve missions. I think they did a really good job of showing it, but they've never done that in a main showcase. And I think that's the big problem for the showing this game off. But I just hope when people finally get hands-on with it, they'll be able to get that feeling from it. Yeah.
Handful was the next game shown. It's coming 2025, Xbox, PC. It is a survival single-player game based after a nuclear disaster in Great Britain. I didn't like this. It has that Sniper Elite look. Another one of those games, right? I like survival games. I have a great time with survival games. Usually multiplayer survival games more than single-player survival games, if I'm being honest. But it very much felt like Sniper Elite, which again, Rebellion make that game as well, so it makes sense. Sniper Elite without snipers, from what I got to see and what I saw of the game. What about you guys? Deesman, what did you think of Atomfall?
I was kind of a bit more up on it. It gave me, I want to say, like, the first vibe I got was like a Fallout London with kind of leaning into some kind of more mythical aspects. So there was very much like, there's a moment where you could see like a Wicker Man area. So it very much felt like it was kind of leaning into those kind of like British like Hammer horror films a little bit. And I like that. And then, like the first person combat felt good. The fact that you get to hit a dude in the face with a cricket bat just made me laugh. So I was very much there for that one. Like, I'm interested in this one. Again, maybe if it is like a kind of quintessentially British at like Western RPG with like those kind of elements, I am there for that. So yeah, like I'm interested to see more of this and see what kind of story they're wanting to tell with it. But just on the like initial look of it, it kind of gives me Fallout like London like 1950s vibes, which I'm there for that one.
I think I leaned more into Fix's opinion on the game. It just didn't do much for me. I'm not like, it gave me a lot of Fallout vibes, which I do agree with that, but I'm also not the Fallout guy really. So it didn't really, there was nothing that really got me hooked and excited for it. I don't think it looked bad by any means though, just really doesn't look like a me game.
Fair enough. We got our first look at Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay, which was a big shock to me. I've got to be honest, boys. I didn't expect to see this again until the showcase today, as of recording. It looked good. Like it definitely hit all of the moments I wanted it to hit. When it started, I was like, "Oh, damn! This looks a lot of fun. This looks cool." And then I don't know. I feel like people are still going to critique this very heavily, with it being a Ubi title, but you can't get away from that at the end of the day. But I really do like the look of what I saw of everything Assassin's Creed Shadows.
In my opinion, from what we've seen, and we haven't seen like one gameplay segment, it looked more fluid than Assassin's Creed has looked in a very long time. From the combat to the parkour looks. They haven't confirmed anything. I'm sure we'll get more info today and over the next couple of days. It looks like the going down parkour is back from Unity, which was one of the best things about Unity. That parkour system, the stealth looked cool, and then transitioning into Yusuke, who's more of like the brawler combat section. All of that looked really, really dope. I think it was a fantastic showing for it, and it got me excited, really excited, and I already was for today's Ubisoft showcase.
Yeah, I'm very much in on this one as well. Like I say, every time they show this, it just gets me even more excited to get back into Assassin's Creed. Like, I fell off hard on Valhalla. So yeah, this is like, I love the idea of just being a samurai and running around and chopping people up. It's great. It looks brutal in some of the takedowns. And like you say, the parkour system looks fantastic. I can't remember her name, the female character. But her kind of parkour system seems really good, and then counteracting that with Yasuke's kind of like more brutal aspects feel like a really good mix. So I am super hyped to see more of this today at the Ubisoft conference.
I think the big thing that I took away from it is it's going to tell an interesting story as well, which that's the big thing for me. Like, I didn't finish, like you said, I didn't finish the last 2 Assassin's Creeds now because of just how big they are, that being part of it, and just the story's not really being exactly what I wanted. It's nice to feel like we're getting into something very fresh with Assassin's Creed here with Shadows and getting to live in that world for a little while. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I have a hope for Shadows that I don't think will end up coming true. I want very minimal modern story. I don't want like this big, because like Valhalla had this big, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who still plays it. I know it's an old game, but they do some really cool stuff for people who like it. At this
point, you're fine. I'll be honest with you.
They do the whole Norse mythology gods and you go into playing them and stuff like that. I didn't really like that. I like my Assassin's Creed for playing in the era that they put me in and telling a dope story in that era. Great. And Valhalla was very much not just that. It was the duality of it. I kind of prefer it leaning the other way, and I hope Shadows does that as well.
Yeah. Fair.
X-Spawn, you got to see what you wanted. I didn't want to see it before the showcase, but you did. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Every time I see this, the game looks gorgeous. I think we got a better look at the kind of game this is. Like, you can see there's some more of that kind of like monster like hunting vibe in it. Not like Monster Hunter, but like there are monsters, there are like mutants, I want to say. Because it is very much around like the Chernobyl and like nuclear fallout and kind of things like that. I think this was a really good showing for that. I think, like we kind of knew what kind of game this was, but I think this gives it puts the nail on the coffin of like, is it just going to be a straight up like Extraction kind of story, or is it going to be like a kind of otherworldly, kind of mutant-esque vibe? And I think this was a really good showing for this. Again, I'm excited to jump into this. I really want to make time to go back and play the first ones, but this might be my first time in this series. But I like the look of this a lot. I think the gunplay looks fantastic. I think, seeing some of the different kind of like otherworldly elements that they're putting in there is really cool. I'm just watching the trailer, and people who are watching this can see like there's the elements of shooting dogs as they explode. It is very cool and very gory and very realistic, but like with that otherworldly element, I'm very excited for this.
Looks like there's going to be some weather effects in it as well. Obviously, you got the big tornado thing they show off towards the end of the trailer. I'm with you. To be honest with you, I didn't want to see more of it, but I'm glad we did because I really enjoyed what they showed.
I did not know what Stalker was before. Like, I knew that Stalker 2 was coming, and I knew that, but I didn't know there was the otherworldly elements to the game. For me, I was like, it's just like a survival game in a sort of apocalyptic setting, where I didn't know the otherworldly elements, and that stuff did sort of make it seem more interesting to me. I like the showing. It has me interested and looking forward to the game now.
Yeah, September 5th. 2024 coming to Game Pass as well. If you're a Game Pass owner, you'll be able to play that day one. Next up, we got some hardware reveals. Not the hardware we was hoping for, being the Xbox handheld, but there is now an Xbox Series X 2 terabyte, which comes in black. That is, and then you have a white Xbox Series X 1 terabyte that comes in white, and then there's a Series S, which is also 1 terabyte, if I'm not mistaken.
So there is a 2 terabyte SSD Xbox, the all digital Series X.
That's the black one.
Yeah, and then the white all digital only.
All digital, which is 1 terabyte.
Which is weird that one's only a terabyte and not a 2 terabyte one. That makes no sense.
Just replacing the cases though, right?
Yeah.
Of what's left over.
Removing the disk drive, and then like you say, the 1 terabyte SSD Xbox Series X.
Yeah, I think it's just different price points to get people in. Like, what are you comfortable with? What can you afford? Whatever. I don't think it's a bad option. I think this goes back to like the 360 era pretty well, where they did this a lot with the 360 of different bundled hard drives with different sizes and stuff like that.
The Elite version, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then our last but not least thing shown at the showcase, Gears of War E-Day. We are getting a prequel to the Gears 1 game, obviously starring Marcus Phoenix and Dom. This is probably the most hype trailer that we saw of the entire showcase. The moment just seeing young Marcus was very confusing for me, being like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a remake, and this is like modern graphics. Like, okay, I thought it was a remake of the one, which it's not. It's a prequel.
Yeah.
I was so hyped seeing this.
I saw the reaction on TikTok. I saw your hypeness.
Yeah. You wanted me to, you said I gotta be hyped where I'm going.
100%. No, I'm pleasantly surprised that to see the correlation doing a prequel and not the sequel to obviously 5. I guess I'm a bit disappointed in a way because I was hoping to see the outcome of that story.
Yeah.
Do we ever see the outcome of that story? I don't know if we do now.
Yeah,
we do. My two guesses on two fronts, right? One, tinfoil hat theory. I think this is going to tie into Gear 6, and you're going to get some Marcus Phoenix flashbacks with the way you get a choice at the end of 5. With that choice, I think there's going to be a little bit of a playback in this, and by the end of it, I think you find out which choice ends up being the canon choice.
Okay.
And then also, I think it gives Coalition a little bit more time to cook up with Gears 6, and maybe some of like the skiff stuff that people might have not liked, give them more time to like work out and sort of work on those other elements that they may want to introduce to Gears of War to make it more appealing to a larger audience, where you get this more sort of core focused experience. Like the stories have come out about like what the game's about, like they're making the Locust more of a threat.
Yeah.
So I think with that aspect, it's easier to tone in on this, get Unreal Engine working, and then sort of go into Gear 6 and make that the best possible experience.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hoping is the case.
No, I do agree with you in as a whole. I think it's the right move for them. I watched the interview with Phil again, and he was talking about how some people have obviously left the correlation. Obviously, Rod Ferguson leaving, and then being obviously he's back at Xbox again now doing Diablo. But you've seen obviously people have moved on from the correlation, so this is like a restart for them in some ways, and this is letting them really get their hands on that world and crafting it how they want it to look. And I think this is a really smart thing to do with E-Day. Obviously, story-wise, I'm super excited. Multiplayer-wise, I'm even more excited, though, to be honest with you, for a prequel as well. It's, I don't know, just going back to basics, you know, Gears of War was the game that got me into Xbox. The reason I'm an Xbox fan and do this podcast is because of Gears of War. Simple as. First real multiplayer experience I ever had online was Gears of War. Ghost Recon and Gears of War. So yeah, like if we can go backwards a little bit to go forward, like you're saying, Crush.
Yeah.
I'll be very excited and very happy about that. Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised. As much as it wasn't what I was expecting, I was very, very happy to see young Marcus and being like, okay, let's see this. And Dom, obviously, the stories they can tell here are going to be really fun and really they probably won't be fun. They'll be very gory, but a lot of fun for me to watch.
It'll be fun to play. Yeah, I was like equal parts confused and hyped for this one when this dropped. Like, I think we all kind of knew it would come at some point that we get a new Gears, but not having Gears 6 is an interesting choice. But I did read an article after the fact that they were saying they got the opportunity to do this and it was too hard to turn down. Like, yeah, they still want to carry on the Gears story, but getting to tell that E-Day story is just something that was too good an opportunity to miss up, which to me makes sense. Like, we've never seen E-Day, or Emergence Day, as it were, and getting to see that in real time and like be able to play through that is going to be exciting. I think it's going to lean more into the horror aspect as well.
Do you think there's a chance that the Netflix story could be telling that E-Day story as well, and that's why they're doing it as well?
Do I think it could tell that story? Yes. Do I think that's why they're making E-Day? Probably not. I think they will try. I don't think they want to hamper the studio to do a specific story. I think it was just a case of maybe the studio that's making the series, they're like, this is the story we want to tell. And some like people within the studio are very much like, you know what? That's a story we want to tell as well. So that's what we're going to do as well. And I think it'll be separate. I guess we'll see when the series comes out.
I don't know, because I feel like it would be odd to do if they're not working in tandem to be like, hey, we're going to do the Netflix story. And then another part to be like, oh, we want to do that story as well. Because you need those things to make sense. Otherwise, one of them is going to end up being the bad one, whether it's the game story or whether it's Netflix's story. And it sets one of them up for failure if they're not done together. Also, really hyped about E-Day. So because it's E-Day, the fake fans can learn that the Locusts, in fact, are not aliens. You heard that right. The fake fans can learn, in fact, Locusts are not aliens.
Call me a fake fan is crazy.
Whoa, I never said you. Did you think
that's crazy? That's
did you
crazy.
Think they're aliens?
Call me a fake fan.
Did you wait? Did you think they're aliens? That's crazier.
You know how hard it is to host a podcast and like get every fact right. You get one thing wrong, it doesn't leave you forever. Is that what we're doing here?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, because I still want that point from last year, and I don't have it. So yeah.
You now have the point from last year.
Congratulations, you still lost last year.
You still lost last year.
Yeah, but that set me up at look at this year. I started off strong and I've been controlling it. I've been running shit.
That's all it was. I just needed that Gears of War point to get in the front this year. But yeah, no, this was a fantastic showing for this. Like, yeah, I don't think they could have ended on a better one last thing.
So when do you think this comes out?
Oh,
2026.
2026, yeah.
I think if there was any plan for 2025, we would have gotten a 2025 release date. Yeah.
I agree. Unfortunately, did you hear the Madwell chime in the background there?
I did. It was so good.
It was fantastic, trailer. Fantastic.
Again,
I totally agree.
The trailer was done. So again, I love to read up on these things. So the trailer was done by Blur, the company that did a lot of the Halo ones back in the day, and apparently it was all using in-game assets as well.
Yeah, unlike Jeff Keighley said.
Yeah, so this is what the game is going to look like. Which, yes, please.
To be expected, right? That doesn't surprise me. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm more surprised by how good Fable looks or how good any of these other games look. Not how good Gears is going to look.
No,
Gears was the best looking game of last gen.
If you go back to Gears 5 still holds up today.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Again, like, people don't think of it that way. Well, some people don't think of it that way, but Gears is a benchmark game when it comes to the consoles that they come out on. Like, yeah, I cannot wait to see what they do with this.
Weird the fact we're getting the Gears game at the end of the life cycle of that console, but hey.
I'll take it. Means I get more Gears. I'm there, yeah.
I'll take it as well. Oh, well, that is our thoughts of the entire Xbox Showcase Direct. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit the like button. Leave us a little comment on your favorite thing that was shown at this year's showcase. We'll read them out maybe on next week's show. Don't forget, you can like, share, comment, subscribe, and leave us a podcast review if you're listening to us via Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, whatever the bloody call it nowadays. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. We got one more showcase to get through for this Not E3, and then we are done. Until next time, we will love you, leave you, and see you all later. Boys.